Hello and welcome to this month's Herbal Ally video for September. This month our theme is nurture, and the goddess we are honoring is Demeter or Demeter, and many of you know her as the mother of Persephone. She's an earth mother, a grain goddess, a goddess of the harvest, of the earth, of the land, of fertility, of growth and nurturing and change, as well as a mother goddess. But she is actually even more multi-layered than that, and so we're going to explore that a little bit in this video, as well as checking in with our Herbal Ally. We do have the Story Goddess Oracle card for this month, as well as a little extra assist from Maya Toll's Everyday Magic mini deck, and I'm going to talk about that in a second and how it connects. But we're going to go ahead and start, first of all, with our Herbal Ally for the month. I really loved to see this connection because we received the Curandera of Air, or Rosemary, and this is from the Herbcrafters Tarot by Joanna Powell-Colbert and Letitia Guthrie, and this is the second month in a row that we have had a savory culinary herbal ally instead of a herb that we might use for some other purpose, but it's a savory cooking type of herb, and instead of a tea or a scent or a sachet type of herb. And so this one is rosemary. So I was really happy to see that. Last month was oregano, and there's just something reinforcing about seeing these spicy, nourishing herbs come up, especially during this time, this month of nurture and Demeter as our goddess. So rosemary is our herbal ally for the month, and rosemary is interesting because you can use it in cooking, like on chicken and things like that, but it can also be used as a preservative in other herbal blends, and it can be used as a tincture, and it can also be used as a tea. And so I personally drink rosemary in an herbal blend tea that I make myself, which is called quote-unquote brain booster tea, and it has tulsi or holy basil, it has spearmint, it has rosemary, and it has a couple of skullcap, and what else does it have? Ironic that I can't remember. I said spearmint, right? Okay, I must need to drink some, boost my brain. Anyway, so lots and lots of ways to use. Oh, and rosemary can also be used to burn, to use as a smoke cleansing wand. So some people grow rosemary and bind it into a smoke cleansing wand and use it as a space clearing ritual tool as well. So rosemary just runs the full spectrum, from magical use to culinary use to tea use to tincture use to brain boosting use. So lots of good things about rosemary. So I will go ahead and share what the authors of the Herbcrafters Tarot also have to say about the herb. That was just what I had to say about the herb. So the message here from rosemary is to adopt a story and pass it on. With pen, song, or brush, tell your story. What is remembered lives. And that actually makes me think of Demeter as she crosses the land looking for Persephone and withholding growth, withholding transformation, withholding change until what she loves is returned to her. She won't be silenced. She keeps telling her story. I have lost my daughter and she needs to come home. So what story are you telling? What ancestor are you remembering? What tale are you bringing into being? With pen, song, or brush, tell your story. Your story matters. And you may also wish to find a significant story and pass it on. What story, a story from a goddess, a story from folklore, a story from myth, what story inspires you? I draw upon the stories of goddesses in my own life all the time. I see these goddesses alive in land and story right before me, in the changing landscape, in the animals, in the plants, in the moon, in the stars, in the changing rhythms of this wild earth, in my own dreams, in my own, like the mythology, the story, the symbols, the elements. They really come alive for me with these goddesses that we explore each month, and we can see the goddess as present and alive in our own life and landscape, her story alive in our own life and landscape. So in this month of Demeter, in this month of September, often the blue stem grass in my field turns to the color of wheat. It starts to close down for the fall, and it turns the color of wheat. So it isn't wheat, but it very much looks like a field of wheat, just like Demeter's fields of grain. So anyway, back to the Herbcrafters Tarot. It says that the Curandera of air is calm and collected. She agrees with this wisdom. Wisdom is not an ancient relic to be collected, but inspiration for new awareness. Isn't that a nice way of looking at wisdom? Wisdom is not an ancient relic to be collected, but inspiration for new awareness. So where are you finding inspiration for new awareness? How are you listening to yourself, to the landscape, to the wisdom around you? And how are you using that listening? How are you using that wisdom as inspiration for new awareness? She knows the medicine of rosemary enhances cognitive function. She understands that words have wings. Her mind is sharp and quick, but she talks very little. She speaks only when she has something meaningful to offer. She is a wonderful listener. She says, "Tell me more." People are drawn to her honesty. Just as rosemary clears the mind, her counsel brings clarity and inspires peace. So, how might you listen? How might you listen to the land, to the people around you, to yourself? How might you say, "Tell me more"? A practice for this month could be, "Tell me more." And I'm having trouble thinking of an affirmation that might go with this off the top of my head, but how about "I know clarity and peace"? I know clarity and peace. And that is... That's a good one here. So some suggestions from this book, practice suggestions. Call a story circle. Gather with others to share your stories. Perhaps even make a rosemary crown that you can pass, or a rosemary wand that you can pass from hand to hand with the storyteller, or you might wear a crown that weave a crown that the storyteller wears. Enhance your memory. Add fresh rosemary to your cold water, or as I said, make a tea with it. You can buy commercially available teas. If you've ordered our patron kit, you may see a little peek of tea in there for you as well. Spoiler alert, sorry about that. So if you order a patron kit this month, you may receive some tea to enjoy as part of your rituals for the month. But you can also add fresh rosemary to cold water. You can add fresh rosemary to cold water. You may also try planting and tending a rosemary plant. And also inspire your writing. Begin your journal session with a rosemary inhalation. So you can have as I said, you can burn it as a smoke offering. But you can also use an essential oil, or you can just hold a little pinch of rosemary in your palm and breathe in the cleansing, refreshing scent and allow yourself to experience clarity. I allow myself to experience clarity could be another affirmation. I tell my story could be another affirmation. I'm trying to get this wisdom and inspiration for new awareness, but it's not coming through quite into a good affirmation. But something like, I listen to the land and find inspiration for new awareness. I listen to the land and find inspiration for new awareness. Could be another possible resource for a affirmation. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and jump over to Maya Toll's little assistant card here. And this one was this was just accidental. I've been using this card during our weekly community practice lives. I've been using this deck, and this one happened to pop out at me, and I thought, oh my gosh, it's totally related to rosemary, and it's totally related to Demeter's searching for Persephone. Oh, I hear Mark getting home from town, so apologies for the car noise going on, but that's okay. It's one of those things. He does grocery shopping on the day that I'm making this video. And I happen to sit outside because it's a really, really beautiful day. And so we've got a little bit of that going on. So a spell for sadness. In a mortar and pestle, mix 1 part dried rosemary, 1 part dried marjoram, and 1 part dried rue. Swirl in 3 rose petals. Pulverize. It's okay if it's chunky. Burn to soften grief. So this is a ritual. You can burn rosemary to soften grief if you're experiencing sadness, and acknowledging that there is a lot to feel sadness about, as well as a lot to find joy and nurturing in as well. So we're setting that one aside, and then we're going to go ahead and check in I didn't even mention her at the beginning. I just pointed to her. But the Demeter card we have from the Goddess Oracle by Amy Sophia Marashinsky. One of the things I really like about this deck is that they're not all smooth, perfect goddesses. So we see Demeter's age and wisdom. She's not smoothed over glamour goddess, but instead she's a mother seeking what is lost. And she's got the pomegranate there and the fire as she goes seeking in the underworld. And so the association Amy has here for Demeter is feelings and emotions. So how might you check in with your emotions? How might you allow yourself to feel your feelings? So an affirmation might be, I feel my feelings. I am in touch with my emotions. I trust what I feel. I trust what I feel. And we can trust what we feel can be, can kind of come and go. So, but we can trust what we feel to guide us. We can trust what we feel to guide us, especially if we listen to our bodies. I listen to my body is another great affirmation for every month. I listen to my body. And when we tap into our bodies, when we listen to our bodies and we pay attention to what we feel and where that feeling lands in our bodies, we often know what we need to do next. We often know what to choose next. So we've been talking a lot about being at the crossroads, being in the cauldron, etc. Well, now is when we emerge from the cauldron and we choose a way. We start to make our way through the crossroads and we start to descend into the cave in the winter. But as of right now, we're on the path again. We've emerged from the crossroads. We're on the path again. We are choosing our way. Let us keep listening to our bodies. Let us keep honoring what we feel. Let us keep trusting what we feel, and let us let what we feel guide us into the step by step into the next step. Okay, so really now checking over the book. And so here we go, connected with feelings. I felt it all, the rage, the anger, the joy, the happiness, the tearing, the anguish, and I searched for the middle ground, the sure path between what I felt and what I did with it. Then I shed the skins, the layers that build up when feelings aren't voiced, aren't heard, aren't acknowledged. By giving my feelings their rightful place, I keep myself far from the intensity, immensity, sheer density, and cost of emotion. So another affirmation could be, I give my feelings their rightful place. I give my feelings their rightful place. So Demeter's name actually means doorway of the mysterious feminine. And she was worshipped as the great goddess long before patriarchal Greeks conquered the goddess-worshipping peoples of what is now Greece and imposed their Olympian male-dominated pantheon. She was there already as the Earth Mother, as the Earth Goddess. As the great goddess, Demeter is known for the founding of agriculture, instituting the social order, and for her mystery rites at Eleusis. One fine spring-summer day, as we know already, Demeter's daughter was captured by Hades, and Demeter, in her grief, withdrew her life force from the earth, and winter came. And so then Persephone ate the pomegranate, ate the 6 seeds in the underworld, and then has to stay in the underworld for 6 months and then can return to Demeter for 6 months. As we've already spoken when we spoke about Persephone, there is some other interpretations of the story that Persephone was individuating from her mother and willingly went with Hades to the underworld. And then it's kind of about the mother-daughter dance of relationship and with individuation, separation, and connection. So, back to Amy. Demeter has come to light your way through the dark and challenging labyrinth of feelings and emotions. It is time to nurture wholeness by accepting, acknowledging, and expressing your feelings. So, another one, and I think this might actually be the affirmation that I've already included with the card, I nurture wholeness. I nurture wholeness. Feelings are what you feel. Emotions are your reaction to your feelings. Feelings left unexpressed build up and can create disease, for they take up space inside and keep healthy energy from flowing. Perhaps as a child, your feelings and you weren't heard, and therefore you need to give them more energy in order to get any sort of response. Perhaps you fear your emotions and or feelings will render you too vulnerable, overwhelm you, or take you to places from which you won't be able to return. Demeter says the more you learn to accept and acknowledge your feelings, another affirmation, I accept and acknowledge my feelings, the less time you will spend in emotional turmoil and the more energy you will have to live life. The more you learn to accept and honor your feelings, the safer it will become to express them. I accept and honor my feelings. It is safe to express my feelings. 2 more affirmations. It is safe to express my feelings, and I accept and honor my feelings. And then there's a ritual suggestion here too, saying what is so, saying what is so. And saying what is so is a ritual that can be done in privacy in the aftermath of an incident that gave rise to the feelings or right in the moment. Take a deep breath and connect with yourself. Breathe into all the cells of your body. Inhale and exhale through your skin. Take time to feel present and focused in your body, and then open and ask, what am I feeling? So I'm not giving enough time to actually use this ritual, as you'll have to take inspiration from the video, and I'll include a ritual outline for you to use. But you'll take inspiration from the video and then do this in your own time. The video would be really long if we guide the whole ritual right now. But anyway, take your time to feel present and then open and ask, what am I feeling? Listen for an answer. If one doesn't bubble up, then ask yourself, am I happy, angry, sad, joyful, nervous, upset, fearful, etc.? Ask your body to speak. You can even ask the parts of your body to speak. So if your neck hurts, you might say, what do you feel, neck? What do you feel? If your stomach feels upset, what do you feel, stomach? What do you need to tell me? And then state what you feel. I feel angry. I feel upset. I feel hurt, and so on. You may want to say it over and over to yourself. This is the core of saying what is so, getting in touch with a feeling and stating it clearly. Sometimes our feelings aren't easy to discern. You may want to relive an incident and unravel the feeling associated with it. Sometimes we just have a sense that everything is not right, a sort of unsettledness. Unraveling that sensation and getting to the core feeling helps to dissipate the emotional charge. For example, saying I feel angry or I feel fear keeps the feeling from escalating into emotion, and it keeps it names it. When we name it and claim it, it can move through us. When we name it and claim it, it can move through us. When we deny it and resist it, it gets stuck kind of within us. Okay, so closing up now with our Demeter card from the Story Goddess Oracle. Nurture, as I said, and there it is. I told you, I nurture wholeness. I was right. When I had this turned over, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I already put I nurture wholeness on one of the cards, then I wasn't totally sure, but there it is. I nurture wholeness, and that's our goddess ally from last year's deck. And so let's see what we have in here. A little prayer card reminder. Take a breath, drop into center. Allow yourself to feel nourished and held. Start where your feet are. Listen to the land. This is your life. Keep it simple and sacred. So this really is a practice card. And then Demeter's poem. Listen, I speak of bud, blossom, fruit, and harvest, the growth possible in embracing changes. I know the hearts of mothers and the freedom of daughters. I am that which has the faith and courage to try again, knowing I will harvest richly and well. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for crossing the threshold into September with me. May you harvest richly and well. May you listen to your body. May you listen to the land. And may you listen to your feelings. Keep living your magic, everybody. Bye-bye.